If you give me a chance now, I mean, if you ask me that question, I'd love to go back and wear the uniforms. I love it. As a family, we went through the biggest trauma we had was that.
iOS or Android?
iOS. Hockey players, if I say Govinda, Ganesh, you'll not be able to relate to them. But then in cricket, of course, Dhoni. We talk quite a lot about Ramaraj. I don't know how it sounds, how it looks. I would like to see such Ramaraj. Be human. That has got the maximum opportunities with no competition at all. Both, this bhakti and jnana, both have to go together. So you just cannot say that I believe in faith and so it will give me the path, or now say that no, the facts and figures cannot prove, therefore, the world is going to come to an end or doomsday is very near.
The simplicity of character is no hindrance to the subtlety of intellect. Our esteemed guest and our beloved director of GRIT, Dr. Jandhyala Narayana Murthy Garu, is an epitome of simplicity and intellect. Having graduated from IIT Madras and a doctorate from the Cranefield Institute of Technology, UK, he joined the armed forces and rendered service to the nation under the Indian Air Force for over 25 years. And joined GRIT in the year 2001 and has been a guiding light to each of us ever since. Vanakkam sir, eppadi irkeenga?
Nalla irukkenamma.
A very good morning, sir.
Inga vannadhukku romba nandri sir.
You may have to change to Telugu as well.
Yes, sir. Very good morning, sir. My name is Sampreeth. My name is Sampreeth and we have Nethra here as the hosts. We are honored to have you with us, sir. It was you who started Team Spirals, the literary club of GRIT, and here we are today. We made a small attempt to impress you with a small video. It is in Telugu, sir. So shall I play it for you?
Please do.
పాలకొండలో పుట్టి మద్రాసు ఐఐటిలో పట్టభద్రుడయ్యారు. తరువాత భారత వైమానిక దళంలో 25 సంవత్సరాలు దేశానికి సేవనందిస్తూ ఉన్నత విద్యా ప్రాప్తికై లండన్లోని క్రాన్ఫీల్డ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్లో పిహెచ్డి పట్టా పుచ్చుకున్నారు. అటు పిమ్మట మన కళాశాలలో అడుగుపెట్టి అంచెలంచెలుగా ఎదిగారు. అంతయు నీవే హరి పుండరీకాక్ష నుండి భలే మంచి రోజు వరకు నారాయణమూర్తి గారికి తెలియని శైలి అంటూ లేదు. తెలుగు భాషను కేవలం భావ ప్రకటనకే పరిమితం చేయకుండా భాషా ప్రాచుర్యమునకు కంకణబద్ధుడై దేశ భాషలందు తెలుగు లెస్స అనే నానుడిని నమ్మి నడిచిన వ్యక్తి. మన గోకరాజు రంగరాజు ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఆఫ్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ డైరెక్టర్ శ్రీ జంధ్యాల నారాయణ మూర్తి గారికి మా టీమ్ స్పైరల్స్ వారి స్వాగతం సార్.
మగమని దని పదమ పదని సమాగరి సని దప సని దపమ గమ పదని.
I hope you liked the video, sir.
Yes.
It was small attempt from our side, sir.
I'm impressed. In fact, you have taken me back to my old days. Thank you.
Sir, let's start off with the first round, sir. Shall we?
Yeah.
It's called the Malgudi Days, where we would ask you a few questions about your childhood because we want to know what you were as a child. What was your favorite game, sir, during your childhood?
Most of my childhood was spent in remote villages. I mean, those days, those places were not developed yet. So basically, there were only 3 games that we used to have. One is ball badminton, then kabaddi and kho-kho. And being a very skinny those days, may not be now. So in fact, I played quite a lot as far as ball badminton and kho-kho was concerned. I think I was quite good at that. and I used to love those games. So my starting game was ball badminton, a field outside game. And indoor games were, not many those days. I think carom was the only one we used to play.
Carom still remains to be a very prominent game even now, sir. It's nice. What were your hobbies, sir?
In fact, the freedom that was given to us was so great that we practically indulged in every activity because there were no other diversions. So, name anything, I don't think I've left no stone unturned, whether it is, reading books or I used to do one thing when I was maybe, that's why I'm a teacher right now. I used to love to teach children. So I used to make a tent on the top of my first floor, on the rooftop. In fact, there were no floors as such, and divide it into 3 parts. And the children who are around our house, so I used to put them, 2 people in class 1, 1 chap in class 2. So then I used to teach them. I'm the teacher, so I go to the first section, tell them numbers, go to the next section, tell them about addition, keep oscillating between both the rooms, so-called classrooms. And everything, the principal, the headmaster, the teacher, everything. And I clearly remember I used to do it in Nellore when I was in class 4. So then I used to run libraries and used to start charge them also, something like 1 paisa for 4 books. And I think we have done, in fact, a lot of credit goes to my parents. They have allowed me, in fact, we used to have one Usha sewing machine when I was class 6th, I think. They allowed me to open it up and sort of clean it and, and put it back. And not many parts were there, in sewing machine that you can open. But at least the bobbin side and clean the whole thing and put it back. They used to allow me to do all that. Of course, teaching and all, we knew it even then itself. Name anything, outdoor to indoor to right from cooking to, and ELBS used to be one fantastic society where my father used to subscribe and we used to get the Telugu books. You name any classics, what you think are the English classics or Indian classics. We have read all of them by the time we reached class 7 in Telugu. So those are the libraries, I used to run. My father used to call it as a, Parnashala library. So he is a Rama Bhakt. So he used to call it as Parnashala. And we have a rubber stamp on that. So on each book, the Parnashala library is actually stamped. And I am the caretaker of all those books. And every month we get about 6 or 7 books. So by the time, there used to be huge collection of books. And I think we had a fantastic time as youngsters. And I clearly remember right from class, maybe by the time I'm 5 years or 4.5 years, because that's where we were in a place called Atmapur. So I clearly remember what all we did. In fact, those days when I was in class 1, the amount of responsibility, the amount of trust they used to have on us was so much that all of us were given certain duties. In the evening, all of us have to take a lamp and go around to each house and see whether the students are studying or not. So we take the lamp at about twilight time, 6:37 time. So take the lamp, go to the window and say, so-and-so, whatever is the name, just shout. That man will lift his head and say, I am studying. 6:30, that used to be, just about to become dark. And then we come back and next day we report. They gave us about 4 students or 5 student houses. So near about my house. So I report in the next day saying that I found all 5 of them studying. And that used to be, one of the greatest achievement or greatest sort of duty, and we used to feel proud of it. And these, I cannot believe a class 1 student is asked to go around all the 5 houses and come back and report the next day. And that used to be the way of grooming our children those days. Yeah.
What was your ambition as a child?
I think we grew up without having any ambition. There used to be so much of confidence in ourselves. You tell us what to do, we'll do it. You want me to study doctor, I'll become a doctor. You want me to become an Air Force, the army, I'll join army. If you want to become a musician, I'll become a musician. But that used to be the confidence in us that we never said that, I want to become like this. My father used to talk very little with us. We used to have that sort of a gap between, he's like a god to us. So we are scared. If he raises his eyebrows, we know that we made some mistake. We don't even speak in front of him. But of late, of course, he is no more. He passed away at the age of 91. When he was about 80, he used to say, I don't know whether I was the cause for all your grades and whatever academic excellences you have got. But one thing I'm sure I did not teach you, and that is to have ambition. One day he suddenly uttered that. I mean, in the sense, his sort of analysis of all of us, all three of us, that is myself, brother, and my sister, we grew up not having any ambition, saying that we want to achieve this, because we felt whatever we did, we achieved. You name classes, rank, coming first, variety of things. I'm not trying to boast, but it never occurred to us that we have to have a sort of a deadline and we have to cross it. We felt wherever we go, we are crossing it with ease. So if you ask me to give an answer, when you are young, what was your ambition? You see a movie, you say you want to be a hero. You hear some music, you say you want to be a singer. You want to do something, it went on like that, but never saying that I have to achieve this. Maybe a strange personality. That's how we grew up.
As a child, what kind of pranks did your brother and sister pull on each other or others, sir? Is there any pranks as such?
The answer is no, because my brother was about 6-7 years elder to us. So, and those days the schools never offered that higher education with the villages where we stayed. So most of the time he's away from our, by the time I realized he's already away from the house, so he never stayed with us. So right from SSLC, he was studying outside the house. So me and my sister only, who is about 1.5 elder to me. But we are one of those goody-goody type, and the way we have been brought up, absolutely no pranks. We had all the fun, but we never had that mischief type of thing, neither in her nor in me. So I cannot recollect any event where we say, yeah, we did this. So the answer is no. Yeah.
Any teacher who inspired you?
Oh, I think we had the best of the teachers. I don't know what they taught, but some names still, we call them as master. So in the 6th class, one David master, and one Ravana master in 6th, 7th, and Jagannath master in 8th, and Seshachalam Pantulu in SSLC. So like that, every stage of my life, I had somehow all these people have inspired me. And one thing I still remember, 8th class, we were leaving a place called Balakonda next to Srikakulam. I went there to tell my Jagannathan master. He used to teach us science and math, terror in the school. But when I went there, we were very close to all of these teachers. So when we went to his house to say, sir, I'm leaving, we have been posted to neighboring place only, Srikakulam. So when I went there, that was what, 68 or 69. So when 67, I think. When I went there to tell him, you won't believe, after 2 minutes, I started crying and he started wiping his ears. I mean, in the 8th class, the bond between the teacher and the student used to be so strong. But all these people have definitely inspired, in some way or the other. So maybe I'm good in maths because of these people, but I don't remember exactly how they taught. But the faces are very, very clear, and I always remember those names. In fact, I went back to locate all of them, their houses. They may not be there, but went there also, couldn't locate them. But I remember all of them clearly.
They would have been proud of you, sir, if they heard all these things. Moving on to the next round, sir. It's called Would You Rather. So here we give you two options. Would you rather select this or that? Would you rather spend a day reading books or teaching students?
Oh, I love talking to students and teaching students. I love that.
Would you rather live without internet or live without AC or a heater?
We grew up, by the time we reached adult stage, we grew up with neither of them. Never had any of them. So, maybe I was fortunate to use the internet right from the day, from 95, I think I started it when I was in Botswana. So I sort of been exposed to this internet for quite some time back. But if you give me an option, I can live without either of them.
Yes, sir. And that's kind of quite difficult for the present generation to live without either of them.
True.
If given a chance, would you like to go back and join the armed forces and be a veteran teacher? Or would you continue to be in the administration wing of GRIT?
To be honest, even in the forces, I've been only teaching, in the sense, not regular class teaching, but make the people understand what the aircraft systems are, the engine systems are, because the amount of sophistication and complication that we have, you require your fundamentals and you require your understanding, analytical capability much higher. So when I work, it's not just changing the whole component. You have been given a small liberty of actually sort of tinkering with it. So if you give me a chance now, I mean, if you ask me that question, I'd love to go back and wear the uniform, sir. I love it.
Patriotism, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you have been through different walks of life. What makes each one unique and how have they impacted you?
Leave the young age where education is the prime thing. In fact, when I was doing the education, when I was going through the colleges, etc., like I've already told you, it was never there to say, to prove a point I'm doing engineering, to prove a point I'm doing a post-graduation or PhD. It's like the winds of fate. As you are moving, the things were coming to me and said, would you like to do this? Somebody comes and asks me. I said, why not? So the education phase went off like that. But joining the Air Force, the turning point was very, very, very clear. My father was retiring in 75. I've said, I will join a service or a career which pays me the maximum. And it so happened in 75, Air Force was paying 1150 rupees per month was the pay. And Tisco and Tatas and all your TCS jobs, they were paying 550 rupees. And that's the difference between whatever you call it, software company. Those days it was not called a software company. The established engineering firms were paying 550 and Air Force was paying 1150. I've said straight away, I like services, I like uniform because I was already an C certificate holder in NCC. So I said, I'll join the Air Force. So that changed the turning point of changing getting into the firm career path. And in the career path, I've realized that you either you retire or die, whichever is earlier. Neither of them happened. I didn't retire, nor I'm still there. So I served for 25 years. Because of my wife's sickness, I had to say that I had to quit. And wherever I joined, there used to be, my motto or the aim is, wherever you are, spread smiles around you. Even in the service, it's slightly difficult. People say it's a disciplined force. It is disciplined force. If you give an instruction, they follow it. But they go home without any tension that day. I ensure that. That used to be the sort of main motto of mine, saying, relieve the pains or the tensions and bring smiles into the people who are around you. And I maintain that. And life has taught me, has given me enough opportunities. And I felt quite satisfied saying that I'm doing that. I've done that.
Very insightful, actually, sir. The next round is called First Things First. So we give you a few words, and whatever strikes your mind, the first thing about it, it could be a memory from the past, or it could be a definition of it.
One word only? I can say 2 words.
You can explain it as well if it's a memory.
Okay. Fine.
The first one, the year 2020.
The low side of it, obviously, is the COVID. And the high side is the Silanyas at Ayodhya.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's a win for the nation, not just religion or anything. That's a win for the nation and the culture here. Yes, sir.
For all of us.
For all of us, yes, sir.
All of us, yes.
Youth.
Energy, vibrance. I mean, the Josh the people have.
Human beings.
Mm, he's an enigma. You can't understand him. He has got a lot of ideas, and sometimes you do not know why he behaves like that. And why some people have these dual personalities and double sort of standards. He's somebody who I think you require ages, millions of years, but you still will not understand and say he's going to do this next. But two individuals I really admire. One is Adi Shankaracharya and the other one is Vedavyas. I think they are epitome of knowledge. I keep wondering how by the age of 12 years, this great personality has written so many, sort of unbelievable, scriptures.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I hope that legacy lives on for the generations to come as well, sir.
Sure.
Science.
Exciting, lot to be explored. We still do not understand many things, and it's unfathomable. The more deeper you go, there is something we can keep learning, and it's made you understand what nature is to an extent, what human being is very little. But science is the sort of key to understand the future.
Religion?
It keeps you going. You have to have faith in something. And that unknown, that superpower, which we cannot explain, religion gives a lot of meanings to that. And in life, how things happen, why things happen, many of them we do not have solutions to that. But a solace it gives me through religion.
Yeah. GRIT.
GRIT.
Yes.
Wow. I'm connected. It's my lifeline, and I enjoy it. I saw it growing in front of me, and I feel I'm part of it in every aspect.
Instagram.
I don't indulge in too much of social, groups. I know Instagram has got its own, advantages, but I don't use it much. So I will not comment on that.
Yeah, yes, sir. Team spirals.
Wow. So it's like, my baby. So I'm very much part. I know how much I struggled in 2002, 2003, where I just used to have two participants in front of me. We used to do activities. So that's how it started. And it has become that, what we call small drops are now like tsunami now. So people are really interested, and activities like your mock-up MUN and other literary activities, what you're doing. I think you are on the track, and you are very steady, and you're picking up pace.
Thank you, sir.
And all the best for spirals. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So that leaves me with the discussion question that I wanted to ask you. You've had a very elaborated career, and what was the most difficult phase of your life, sir?
You see, there's been, we are all from middle class or lower middle class families. And life itself is a struggle for just like any other person in India, because majority of us belong to that class. And if you say a difficult situation, the parents never made the life to appear as one of the most difficult to negotiate to the children. That's one thing great, as far as like every parent does that. So when we look back, we could understand that what difficult times it was to manage 3 kids in hostels or to study and all the expenditures, etc. Yes. But they have borne that entire sort of struggle. And they have left us with only one simple task. Education is the most important thing, and and you are doing well, so continue to do it. So, but when you say difficulty part, subsequently when you start the career, is that, being in Air Force, we used to get transfers. We used to move around quite a lot. And but then that was enjoyable. In fact, I used to say, join the Air Force and see the world. I did see the world. I managed to see quite a lot of places. Then subsequently, the most difficult, I say, in my life was, that sort of unexpected, tragic event or, initiation of my wife contracting one of those, funny diseases called ILD, which people could not recognize. And by the time we realized, her lungs are already more or less collapsed. So the most difficult phase was to work, trying to establish myself in the college and to look after her. And the children were all over the place. So that was a bit difficult for us. As a family, we went through the biggest trauma we had was that. And anyway, we have taken it as part of life. So life went on. But otherwise, I felt the nature of the God, Supreme Being, has been quite kind enough towards me. So the only hurdle I faced was this.
So for our generation, the next generations to come, what do you think has to be our perception of life when we are in these kind of troubles, managing both personal and professional life?
Yeah, you see, a lot of people say, the same. I go back, this ambition and the goal, and it's every generation looks at life in a slightly different manner. Your generation looks at it as compared to our generation. Because competition was there that time, the competition is there now also. Opportunities are there, but then they are far and few, and only the qualified people will get it. So ultimately what happens is, whether you have any ambition, whether you want to achieve a certain very, very specific one, saying that, I want to get that 40 lakh job of Microsoft, it's a very highly specific one. And that too, not in testing, I want to be only in the development, Maybe you people have, the younger generation have got such precise goals. If you have got such precise goals, irrespective of outside ups and downs, there's something called, finally what is required is that qualities within you have to be improved. The sadness, the happiness, or the achievements, everything is all within. So all the troubles will be there outside. The environment may go up, may go down, it may not be conducive, or it may not give you the opportunities what you require. But finally, that sadness or the frustrations, everything will emanate only inside. So irrespective of the outside, and giving examples is very easy to say that, you all should be like that Tamaraku with Neetu Pottula Undali. A detached attachment, all you should have. Yes, COVID is there. You're scared. You're concerned. Every one of us is concerned. Then take all the precautionary actions. Next, when outside, this is the problem. In that case, you improve your immunity system, maintain your health, etc. You have an ambition, then what the skills are required, and how you personality, how you can project yourself. So whether it is the health and immunity system, or the precautions and the safety that you require to meet the environment properly, or the skills and the knowledge that is required for your job, all the three, all the activities have to be done by you, and all the development has to be done within you. Just focus on that. And definitely you will be in a position to convert the opportunities or cash in whatever sort of environment has to offer you. You will be there right in that winning tape, right at the edge of it.
So we need to have the discretion of what we want in life and what we should do to achieve it with perseverance. Yes, sir.
On a lighter note, we have the next round, which is rapid fire, sir. In this round, we'll ask you a question and you're expected to answer almost immediately.
Yep.
3 favorite books, sir.
Jeffrey Archer novels.
Any adventure you are yet to go on?
Skydiving and skiing.
That sounds very adventurous, sir. Your favorite cuisine?
Idli sambar.
Yes, that happens to be the favorite of many people, sir. iOS or Android?
iOS. I have all my
Favorite sport?
favorite sport is
Gadgets or
hockey.
iOS?
Hockey.
Okay. Favorite player, sir?
Hockey players, if I say Govinda Ganesh, you'll not be able to relate to them. But then in cricket, of course, Dhoni.
True.
Sir, it's interesting that you told us that your favorite operating system is iOS, sir. You want to say about why iOS over Android, sir?
All the gadgets were presented to me by my children. I have Mac. I have an iPad. We used to favoritely call it as Padmini. That is iPad Mini is called Padmini. Okay. And I've got my iPhone. It just so happened that I've started my sort of activities with the devices from all these presented ones. Once you get used to that system, you suddenly realize the other systems are nowhere near that as far as variety of things.
Yes, sir.
So since I've started using them and I'm living with it, I somehow felt that I have to continue with them. I'm attached to them.
Yes, sir.
If you were granted one single wish by God, what would you ask for?
Normally, I don't do such wishes, but we talk quite a lot about Ramaraj. I don't know how it sounds, how it looks. I would like to see such Ramaraj.
We need God to come again for that, sir. We surely do, yeah. So, with this, we conclude the rapid fire and we go to this audience section. We have our event manager too, who has a question for you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you for giving me the time. Sir, I just want to ask you that do you believe that everything can be simply concluded as right and wrong, winning or losing? Or can we establish a middle ground for most things?
I know we are in a digital world. It is either 1 or 0 binary system. But in life, it's slightly difficult to be either 1, 0 or black and white. Certain amount of grayishness creeps in. So it is possible for highly enlightened people to be exactly on this side or that side. A certain amount of adjustment, certain amount of dilution will happen. If you say lying, even the Shastras say you should not lie. That is the golden rule. But then they give you possible situations where you can lie. If somebody's life is under threat, or you want to perform, get married, like that, they have given about five or six incidences where they say you can lie. So it's not only us. Then it's very clear to say that it's very difficult to maintain that perfect path of this side or that side, or black or white. I think there's certain amount of middle path, but then it's left to the individual, what we call as desa kala mana paristhiti. It all depends upon the place, position, situation, the time. A certain amount of wariness will creep in. It's bound to take place.
Thank you, sir. Nothing is perfect.
So that leaves me with this interesting question. What is it when it comes to success, sir? Is there only winning or losing, or even the second rank or the last but one are also considered?
See, generally the environment or the outside people, they decide certain sort of limits or goals or heights for you. And when you achieve, people say you're successful. But I believe in one thing: you set up your own goals. That is what we call your Antaratma tells you, this is the limit. This is where I can go. This is what I want to achieve, or this is what I can achieve. You surpass that and keep raising that limit. I think that is the true achievement of success.
Yes, sir.
You go, like for example, in my case, suppose I go and give a class and come back. Somebody might say that, yes, sir, the class is very nice. But then there's one more GV inside us. It tells you, aaj maja nahi aaya. I've not enjoyed the class today. You live up to that. So that success is, I believe is that self-set goals, if you can surpass and keep excelling, keep raising the bar. Don't try to lower it. Don't try to adjust yourself for a mediocre performance. So if you can do that, I think that's the true meaning of success.
That leaves me with the last two questions of the interview, sir. The first one being, in today's world, people are afraid to step up. As in, they can understand the problem quickly, but to put themselves actually in the situation and really help the needy is something that has decreased over time. So where is mankind heading towards, sir? Is it losing humanity, or is it just the we are looking at it in that way and humanity has been increasing? What is it, sir?
What we call, I call it as, that sphere of, whether you call it influence or security. Previously, into that circle, it used to be very wide. People used to admit everyone into that. One example is that concept of joint family. But gradually, that has reduced. It has become, sort of nuclear. Me, my life partner, and my children. Even that reduced even still further. And it says, we have reached a stage to say, in that circle, only I am authorized to stay. That's all. All the rest is a material. The value system definitely is changing over the years. And I do not say that it's a general observation. It's not that everyone is like that. But definitely it is shrinking. But this human is a peculiar guy. You say that, take for example the COVID situation only. There are lots of news items which says they are very, very inhuman in admitting the people into their complex if they come to know that not even they are confirmed COVID, but they have got some symptoms of COVID. In the middle of the night, they made sure that they are evicted or they have not even been allowed to enter the complex. That's highly inhuman. But take the other side. Just a couple of days back in Calicut, the aircraft crashed. And they say the 192, barring those poor 15 or 18 people who died, every one of them was evacuated from that gadda within 2 hours. The entire village was there to pull them out. And the entire village was standing outside the hospital to donate blood. And that's something phenomenal. It just shows, yes, there are pockets of people who have got where I've said, that thing is shrinking and they only sort of live for themselves. Definitely humanity has, or that COVID people who were staying whole night outside their complex. There are people who have stooped down to that level. But there are enough incidents to give us confidence saying that no, humanity still exists amongst the people. So I do not neither say that we are stooping down or it's very high. We have got clear examples, and let's all be optimistic. Say that yes, it still exists. Recently somebody has forwarded. I really liked it. Youngster like you people went to an old man and asked, "Sir, I want to start a career, tell me a domain where lots of opportunities are there, and I can make a great career." That old man smiled and he said, "Be human. That has got the maximum opportunities with no competition at all." And so it's true. So it's something all of us have to say that the first thing we have to learn to become is to become a human.
Yes, sir. So that makes me ask you, in the quest of human exploration, finding the very answer of their existence or where they are from, what is it that is going to drive us? Is it going to be the faith and God, or is it going to be the facts and the discoveries, sir?
Both, sir. This bhakti and jnana both have to go together. So you just cannot say that I believe in faith and so it will give me the path, or now say that no, the facts and figures cannot prove, therefore the world is going to come to an end or doomsday is very near. It is that right combination which will untie the knots of all these mysteries. More than the mysteries, it will show a clear path to people to say you can still go ahead for another millions of years. So both should be there, because our system is very, very complex. So this what about we say this half a kg of brain which is there, and that system which the creator has built in, it responds to a mixture of both the faith, the bhakti, the jnana marg, and follow what science has to offer you, at the same time understand what your belief system is actually driving it.
So I think it's safe to say that science is going to give us the velocity, but the faith is going to give us the direction.
Maybe, yes.
So thank you so much for your valuable time, sir. Thank you for sharing all the memories and the insights of how we should be as human beings. We are honored to have interviewed you, sir.
In the words of Albert Einstein, the world is not dangerous because of those who do harm, but those who look at it without doing anything. Being human is given, but keeping humanity is a choice. The simplest things are also the most extraordinary things that only the wise can see. And Dr. Jandhyala Narayana Murthy Garu, if anything, is wise. Thank you, sir, for your insightful afternoon, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. God bless. It's my pleasure talking to you youngsters, the Spiral team, and I wish the Spirals to grow and ensure that your legacy continues, and it'll be the best when we come back after maybe a decade or 2 decades, still see a new bunch of youngsters taking the Spirals to new heights. Thank you very much. God bless you.